Yo, IELTS Speaking Part 1. Topic, furniture. Check it out. Hello, this is the IELTS Speaking Test Part 1 and my name is Stan. What can I call you? Hello, you can just call me Keith. Alright, Keith. So, Part 1 topic, furniture. So have you got any? Do you mean, do I have any furniture at home? Yes, that is what I said and that is what I meant. Well, yes I do, like everyone. Alright, keep your hair on. Don't be sarcastic, mate. Listen, Part 1, right? You can't just say yes or no. You've got to develop the answer a little bit. Try again. Have you got any furniture in your home? Yes, I do. I've got some tables and chairs, a sofa, an armchair, wardrobe and cupboard. No. Wait a minute. This isn't the magic memory game, right? Don't just list things like, you know, you're going shopping. Just take one thing and develop it. Talk about it in a bit more detail. Try again, my friend. Yes, we've got a dining room table with chairs. The table is pretty big and made of wood. Although, to be honest, I can't remember what kind of wood it's made from. And then we've got a leather sofa, but I'm not a big fan of it. It kind of sucks you in when you sit down and you end up with a sore back. So for this first question, let's have a look how I did. Because I am the candidate here. So at the start, notice what happens. I wasn't sure what exactly the question was or what the examiner was asking me. So it's absolutely fine in the exam at any moment to ask the examiner to repeat, right? Could you say that again? Can you repeat that? Would you mind repeating that? All of these are fine, absolutely fine. And the examiner will repeat questions. Doesn't affect your score. So long as you don't do it for every question, of course. But also, if you're not clear, you can ask for clarification. But notice, in part 1, the examiner will repeat questions, but they won't paraphrase them, right? However, if you say, well, do you mean the examiner might say, or yes, or they might repeat the question. So it's worth asking if you're not clear, as I did, right? Do you mean, do I have any furniture at home? And the examiner, friendly Stan, said yes. So you can do that. You can ask to repeat or for clarification. The second really important thing was don't give short answers, right? And don't be sarcastic, right? Some questions in IELTS are a bit strange. Accept it. Don't try and be funny with it, okay? As Stan said, short answers are not helping you. Of course, in the exam, the examiner's not going to help you and tell you this, right? This is just for this video. But remember, short answers are not good. You have to develop them. And notice the list. It's as Stan said, it's not the magic memory game, right? Don't just list things. It's much better to take one, maybe two, but probably in part 1, just one thing and develop it a bit, give a bit more detail. Remember, in part 1, you've only got about 20 seconds for each question, right? It's not mathematical, but more or less, you probably have quite a short time. So take one thing, develop it. And it's interesting with the list idea, right? Because I know some people think, well, I can use nice vocabulary, right? Fancy vocabulary. I've got an 18th century mahogany wardrobe and a modern IKEA marble table. And, you know, no, No, because it's clearly memorized, right? Ask any native speaker what table they've got. They don't know if it's an 18th century mahogany teak, I don't know, table. It's not natural. So it's really, you can if you want, but you're going to show off much better language if you just develop one or two things. So let's have a look at what I did, right? Let's have a look at my answer. So yes, we've got a dining room table, a dining room table. That's as much adjective as you need, I think, right? Kitchen table, dining room table with chairs. Simple. Now, instead of saying it's made from 18th century mahogany, a kind of wood, I was much better because I said, to be honest, nice connector, I can't remember what kind of wood it is made from. I can't remember what with inversion, right? Not what kind of wood is it made from. I can't remember what kind of wood it is made from, right? So these indirect questions where you have I don't know what, I can't remember what, plus inversion. That is great language. And there's a passive there. It is made of, it is made from. Both are okay. So actually, the quality of my language is great. Connectors, collocations, complex grammar, really good. And then I go on to talk about the leather sofa. Again, one adjective is enough, right? A leather sofa. You don't have to say a black Italian 20th century leather sofa. Oh, right? Sounds like you work for IKEA. And then I say, it kind of sucks you in. Now, suck, right? Have you ever sat in a sofa, right? And you end up like that. It's terrible for your posture. It sucks you in. But I said, it kind of does this. It kind of does that. Great language to express something that is difficult and not exact or not precise, right? It kind of sucks you in. Great. And you end up with great phrasal verb, right? In the end, you have, or you end up with a sore back. Ooh, a bad back or a painful back. Sore back, great natural collocation. So look at the quality of language, right? You don't need complex, fancy vocabulary. It's much more about natural collocations, some idiomatic or phrasal verbs, and putting it all together. Nice answer, even if I say so myself. Let's move on. Right, next question. What is your favourite piece of furniture? In my home? Yeah, in your home. That is what I said. Well, obviously not the sofa. I think it's probably my bed. I mean, I've got a king-size bed with quite a firm mattress, which I really like. And I guess it's just a place where I can leave the worries of the world behind, right? And just find a bit of comfort and solace, maybe. Next question. So let's have a look here at question 2, right? About the favourite piece of furniture. Now, notice what I did at the start, right? I kind of made a joke, right? Because I talked about my sofa, I didn't like it, and then I said, well, obviously not my sofa, right? Now, as I mentioned before, I don't think sarcasm is good in the test, but a little bit of humour is great. And I'll explain why. Because the IELTS test, it's a test, but it takes place between two human beings. Yes, examiners are human beings, although sometimes you may not think so. And it's a relationship. You're talking and you are building a little bit of relationship. And the more you can relax into it and enjoy it and share something of yourself, although the examiner, I know, doesn't care, they're just listening to the language. as humans, we're going to react to a bit of humor and fun, and it can work very positively. I mean, don't tell jokes, but something like that I think is a nice thing to do. It builds up a little bit of rapport, that relationship with the examiner, and that can only help you. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Now, looking at the language, right, I talked about a king-size bed, right? Great collocation. Queen-size bed, king-size bed. Firm mattress, nice collocation. And it's just a place where I can right? Relative clauses. It's a place where it's a thing that great, good grammar. Also notice just. When we use just, we're kind of making something less important than it really is, right? Oh, it's just my new car, right? You're making it seem less important. It's just a place where I can leave the worries of the world behind. Well, it's an expression. It's a little bit poetic, but it just came out naturally. It's true for me, right? The bed, it's where I just relax and disconnect from the world and leave the worries of the world behind. Great. Leave the worries of the world behind. Absolutely. And I noticed I got a bit more poetic. I said, it's a place where I find a bit of comfort, true, and solace. Well, maybe. Great. Let's move on. What kind of furniture would you like to buy? Well, I haven't thought about that, actually. Well, now is a good time, right? Have a little think about it. Okay, let me see. Well, maybe a new desk for my office. I work at home, you see, and I've got this old rickety table or desk that's always wobbling. And so I think it's probably a good idea to replace that. Now, in the next question, of course, it totally took me by surprise. And I've never thought about this. I didn't have an answer. So, as Stan told me, right, you don't just say, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Take the time then and there to say that and to think about it. I haven't thought about that. Present perfect. Let me see. Oh yes, well maybe, and then start talking about something that could be an answer, right? So I talked about this rickety desk. I love that, rickety desk. Now, there's a whole group of words, and I think they're called ricochet words in English, which are two words sounding very similar, but normally where a vowel or a consonant changes. Right? You may have heard of a higgledy-piggledy, willy-nilly, rickety-rackety, topsy-turvy, right? Okie-dokie, teeny-weeny, namby-pamby, airy-fairy. There's lots of them. Those actually are probably the most common ones. And you may not use them, but if you do use them, they are so unusual that you will probably capture the examiner's attention. But do be careful how you use them. You really need to, as with all vocabulary and expressions, see them being used in 3 or 4 different contexts before you start using them, so you really know how to use them. Some of these words are much more children's words, that when adults use them, we use it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, which means as a bit of humour and playing, right? Oh, that's an airy-fairy idea. It means it's a not very realistic and pragmatic idea, but there's a little sense of kind of humour and playing when we use these. Rickety-rackety desk. It's a topsy-turvy world, right? Topsy-turvy is upside down. Everything's confused. The others, higgledy-piggledy, is the same meaning, right? But you can tell it's kind of a children's word just by the sound. But adults can use it, but use it in a playful way, right? You know, the results of the election are a little bit higgledy-piggledy. We don't know what's going to happen. Hoity-toity, meaning posh. Oh, so you went to a hoity-toity restaurant, did you? Right, saying it playfully. Oh, you went to a posh restaurant. And willy-nilly. It just means you do something without planning, kind of haphazardly, right? I went into the meeting and began speaking willy-nilly. I'm improvising, right? I didn't know what I was doing. So these ricochet words can be, they can be quite fun. Let's move on. Has anyone ever bought furniture for you? You, yeah. No, to be honest, no. Nah, listen, I've told you about short answers, right? You're not doing yourself any favours. It doesn't help. You need to develop your answer a little bit. Come on, try again. Has anybody ever bought you? No. Has anybody ever bought furniture for you? No, I don't think so. Mind you, I did once buy a table for some friends, right, when they got married, if that counts, and they really liked it. It took pride of place in their living room. Thank you very much. That is the end of part 1, furniture. Yo. Let's look at the last question then. Has anyone ever bought furniture for you? No. Oh dear. What do you do, right, if the answer, quite honestly, is no? 2 things. 1, you can make it up, right? You can just lie. Nobody knows and nobody cares. It's a white lie, right? I wouldn't worry too much about it. You can lie. Just make something up, let's say. Number 2 is you could talk about somebody else, right? Has anyone ever bought furniture for you? Well, no, they haven't. But I've bought furniture for somebody else, right? Do you cook? No, I don't. But my wife cooks a lot. And da, 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 da. So you can talk about the other person. Just make sure when you do that, that you keep on the topic. Don't start talking about the other person and their job and where they live and their personality. No, talk about furniture or the topic that it is. So I said, no, mind you, nice, right? That's kind of but, however, mind you, with that lovely mind you, I did once buy a table for some friends when they got married, right? And then I talk about the table. Don't talk about the marriage. No, it's furniture. They liked it. It took pride of place in their living room. That's a nice expression, right? It takes pride of place, means you put something in the most important place where it will get everybody's attention. Great expression. So remember, you can do that. You can make something up or you can talk about somebody else, but stay on topic. Great. That's it. So thank you for joining me today. The hosts for today were Stan, the man, the examiner. My name is Keith, and I run the website Keith Speaking Academy. You can see the link below. If you want more resources and ebooks and ideas and tips, go to the website. There's lots of great stuff there to help you prepare for IELTS speaking. If you want to go a step further, I recently brought out a new online course, and it's there to really help improve your fluency. And funnily enough, it's called Fluency for IELTS Speaking. The links are below. It will help you improve your fluency, automate your grammar, and really work on pronunciation to get that natural intonation as you speak. If it's right for you, go for it. Great. Thank you very much for watching today. If you've enjoyed this, do like it, share it with other people, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe as always and turn on notifications. Great. Take care, my friends. All the best now. Bye-bye.